Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get on your feet.
Watch me let the sky!
And he scores with an unbelievable one-handed tuck-in goal. And the Blues have tied the game on a highlight reel goal.
Watch me let the sky!
Shoots. Game winner. You can bring out the Zamboni. Sounds like it.
I think we're good.
All right.
3, 2, 1. All right, Blues Loungers. It is Doc Noyes and Sean Ditch with the Rinkside Podcast. We are almost to training camp. Saturday, September 19th. Sunday, September 20th. Actually starts the 18th, but the fans can be there the 19th and 20th. Sean, are you excited about this?
You know, forget training camp. Let's just drop the puck on opening night. Let's just get it over with. Oh, man, I can't take this anymore.
The countdown, it's funny to be on Facebook and see the lounge. Everybody has their countdowns going. Whoever's wearing that number, we are counting down quickly.
Yep.
60 players invited to training camp this year. Going to even do the big Hall of Fame brick part before 9:30 on Saturday, September 19th. Bernie Ferdurko, Brett Hull, Al McGinnis will be on hand. They'll unveil the bricks put down everybody could buy, including the Blues Lounge brick, which is located in Section T. It's just going to be just to the right of the Brett Hull statue. So you can make sure you get your pictures. That's what you got to do is take some selfies with the brick and make sure you post them on the lounge page so we can check out who all's seen our fancy brick.
I want to check out Johnny's. Yeah, exactly what you just said. I was just about to mention Johnny's brick that he purchased for the lounge. It's gonna be nice to see all those bricks as well. And I know my parents bought a brick. Did you buy a brick, Doc?
Unfortunately, no. When I was getting married and all that, I had to put all money toward that. So hopefully, if they sell some more in the future, I will definitely buy on that. Maybe we can even we'll talk about this off the air, but at some point we could do some kind of contest with people taking selfies with the lounge brick and maybe do some kind of giveaway. That'd be cool.
That would be really cool. We could get that music up, and we'll get a promotion going here on the podcast. We got music picked out for it too. We're gonna air it in a future episode, so that'll be interesting.
But it is, like I said, the countdown is here. We've got a lot of training camp stuff coming up. The first fans will be able to see it on Saturday, September 19th. Got multiple practices and scrimmages going on that day. The first scrimmage starts at 10, goes till noon. I'm sorry, first practice is 10 to noon. Scrimmage starts at 11:15, and then Group B practices 12:30 to 2:30 with a scrimmage at 1:45 in there. Everybody's excited. I mean, we're almost there. You can almost taste the hockey season starting, and the roster is I don't know. I mean, I see a lot of goals.
Packed.
I see a very fun roster. A lot of good invites. Couple surprises, including Patrick Berglund being out till they're saying could be to the beginning of 2016 with his injury. You've got Laterra with his ankle. He said he should be ready by the drop of the puck for the regular season.
Well, we all hope so. How's Tarasenko going to get set up? You know,
some of these young guys, I could see some of the Stasny's one that everybody's saying, but some of these young guys could work themselves in there. I know everybody's excited to see Fabry and Tyrati in there.
Absolutely. You heard Hitchcock say at the Icebreaker, he said that these practices before, there's going to be a lot of scrimmaging, and he said that at the Icebreaker, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Wish I could be down there to see it, because it's going to be a lot of fun to see Fabry come out on his own. Like he said during the prospects camp, Fabry just stood on his head. He didn't even deserve to be there because he was so good compared to the rest of the players.
Well, and I'm hoping that he hasn't lost any of that And I highly doubt it. Looking at the numbers he put up the rest of the year, the biggest thing is if he comes in on top of his game, you'll see him easily get a roster spot. And he's going to be one of the most fun ones to watch in training camp and in preseason. And if they put him on the roster, which I think is about a 95% possibility at this point, it's going to be a phenomenal start. And if the Blues if they shake off the very rough playoff exit and get a good start to the season, I think it's really going to help our confidence, get the fans behind the team, because that's one of the biggest things they need this year is they need the fans to get behind them.
Yeah.
After again another first round
disappointment.
The fans have had enough, and if they stumble and have a bad start, I could see 20 games in a lot of major changes for the team.
Yeah, you don't want to see major changes come in, especially early in the year. And the Blues fans, they need your support, and we gotta be behind them because it's now or never. Basically, we said when we started the rebuilding process 10 years ago. Yep, 10 years ago. It's that we were building for the future, and the future is now. And the Blues we need to get behind them, definitely. Every single night. We got to pack the house. Don't let Hawks fans come into the building when the Hawks are in town. We need to fill the chairs, fill the Scott, pack the Scott, make it the House of Blues, the House of Pain. Speaking of Davis Payne, wow. That was 5 years ago. But yeah, we got to fill it up every night and just be loud and just go out there, go to the arena every night and be proud to be a Blues fan, wear the Blues sweater, and just go out and cheer on our Blues because they're going to need their support all season.
And a lot of fans are excited, but they're also nervous. A lot of people expected more off-season changes. We got rid of Oshie. That shocked and upset a lot of people.
Yeah. But
looking at numbers, looking at the overall changes, I think it's going to be a positive one when it really all comes down to it. Everybody thinks everybody thinks of him for the Olympics. Well, beyond that, he wasn't very good
when we needed
for our team last year.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, anybody can be good in the regular season, but if you disappear in the playoffs, that's where everybody remembers.
Absolutely. I can't agree more with that, Doc.
But this camp, we are 10 days away, or actually, I'm sorry, take that back, 9 days away for the first day, 10 days till you can go to Scott Trade and see it. Looks like they're going to be doing a lot of other fun stuff with it, which is nice, doing a lot of merchandise stuff, going to have food, going to have a kids area featuring a slap shot machine. You can even dress like a player. So even as adults, I think they'll let you do that.
Maybe even some good autograph opportunities from the prospects.
I'm hoping they will. They haven't given much information on that. I'm hoping that they will because that's what a lot of fans go there for. My biggest thing is you don't get a couple of guys, and I know I'm going to upset people saying this, but we don't get a couple of the guys to basically getting all the autographs and then turn around and selling them because it's a fan event. Let it be a fan event. On top of that, once we get into the regular season, I'm excited, being especially out of St. Louis. I'm 2 hours north. Every game is on TV.
Yeah,
between Fox Sports Midwest and NBCSN. That's awesome. That shows that St. Louis is a marketable TV team because not all teams get that kind of coverage, either local or national. We've got 5 games on NBCSN, all the rest, or actually I take that back, I'm sorry, more than 5 games. We've got
12, something like that.
Jersey, Buffalo, Chicago, a couple Colorado games, Washington, and some other ones all on NBCSN, and everything else on Fox Sports. So if you're not in the area, you'll still be able to watch the games, and some of those national televised games are just going to be are some of the best ones.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Right at the end of the season, you've got Chicago, you've got Detroit,
At the beginning of the year, we got Tampa Bay.
Yep, you've got an early game, December game in Chicago and NBCSN, and you better be at those games. If you can't make them, you know you're going to have good TV coverage. But it's nice to see the Blues getting that
Don't let
kind
home
of
fans
media.
get your seats either.
Please no.
No.
Yeah, I don't even want to get into that. And some of our people have read the articles on Tampa and how they were limiting tickets. And I don't want the Blues to get that way. The fans should be buying them up on their own. I don't want to get into the whole, well, if you're wearing this jersey, you can only sit in this section. Sorry. You know what? Hockey is about all the fans in general, regardless of who they like. But as Blues fans, let's buy the tickets and let's go to the games and keep the red out that way, not by the owners saying, no, you can't buy a ticket if you live in Illinois.
Yeah, that's silly. It's really what it is. What it comes down to is our fans aren't buying tickets, and we need to get those tickets, fill the Scottrade Center with blue or yellow, but preferably blue. Blue's more intimidating than red.
or a whiteout. I love the whiteouts too.
Whiteout.
Get everybody wearing white jerseys, white shirts.
Speaking of whiteout, the Winnipeg whiteout in the playoffs last year was really a sight to see. It was really. Yeah,
and the Jets will be a team I'm looking forward to this year because they're going to be a team that's going to give us a lot of challenges.
I was watching an old clip, from last season, from 2 seasons ago actually, when we were playing against the Winnipeg Jets. It was the St. Patrick's Day game. I was watching it on my Game Center app, and I was watching the Canadian broadcast instead from the Blues broadcast, excuse me, and they said that this is the players on the Jets were saying this is a rivalry game. We really hate the Blues, and I was just like, whoa. And we as Blues fans, we don't consider the Winnipeg Jets our rival, not maybe until last year, but the Winnipeg Jets, physical hockey team. They come out, they give you your A game every single night, and they're physical, and they played a rough game. You saw it at the end of the year last season with the ref job game where we lost 1-0 to bad refs. That game was very, very chippy. Wouldn't you agree? Oh man.
Totally. The whole Western Conference is going to be very tough, and we're going to need every point we get into this. And even a lot of people everybody wants to use Berglund as the beating the dead horse, but I'm sorry, the numbers he had the last quarter of the season and the little time we spent in the playoffs, I'm sorry. He's not
good.
A bad player.
No,
he's much better than a lot of people give him credit for. Yeah, it's going to open the door to some of the young guys that are coming in. But when he's back, I have a feeling he'll be back and rested. And you got the same way with some of the other guys that were hurt late last season, and the injuries were hidden due to just wanting to play. Jay Bouwmeester being one of them. He's now back 100%. Laterra is not going to be out that long, and he's been rehabbing since he had surgery August 4th.
Also, probably the defenseman that every Blues fan wanted to play in the playoffs, Bortuzzo. I can't believe I forgot his name there. Bortuzzo. Everybody wanted Bortuzzo to play in the playoffs, and he was injured at the end of the year.
We're back.
We're back
almost 100%. Even with I love Berglund. Even with him being gone, though, I think it'll give some of these young guys a chance to step up and make big plays and show the reason that they need to be on this team. And you've got some invites that may work their way into the Blues roster as well, or at least get the young guys and even some of the veterans fired up to make sure that they can stay on the roster. You got Scott Gomez, Scotty Upshaw, guys that Upshaw I think should still be playing somewhere now.
I agree. He's a good, scrappy third or fourth liner, and he can definitely still put points on the board. There's no question about that. And he's very physical, and he's a good leader. He's got a good sense of leadership, and he came out and said, "I want to impress everybody on the coaching staff and the team." And with that kind of attitude, it's kind of hard to say, "Hey, I don't want that guy with that kind of attitude on my team."
He had played last year, had 15 points. He was a -8, one power play goal, but even still, I mean, he's 31 years old. He's definitely a guy. The only problem is I don't know what his salary would be. Last year's salary was $3.5 million.
He was also playing
funny.
for the Florida Panthers.
That's a very good point. So we'll see what goes with that. But I think everybody's going to be fighting for slots. But you know what? That's the best training camp to have. If you've got everybody already in a position, they're just going to show up and skate to skate. These guys are skating to either hold on to their spot or get one. And everybody's going to be hungry. Everybody's going to be on top of their game. And it's going to be a fun camp. I'm really hoping everybody comes in and takes this seriously. Hitchcock seems fired up about it. The ownership, everybody seems to be on the same page. We've seen a lot of pictures already of the guys at the Mills doing informal skates and that. So a lot of guys have not stopped.
Speaking of the informal skate, the St. Louis Blues posted a video on Twitter where it was like a 30-second video, and they were just screwing around trying to get a puck, and they were like jumping all over the place. These guys look like they're having fun in the informal skate, but it's serious at the same time. When we haven't seen that kind of fun attitude, because it seems like, you got to keep it. It's roughly. I hate to say this phrase because I never thought this when I was playing. But at the base, at the game's base, it is just a game, and you got to have fun playing the game. And it's when you play your best is when you're having fun. That's what a young coach told me when I was young. That's what a coach told me when I was young, and I never forgot that.
Well, and even I'm 37 years old. I play goalie and forward both, and love every minute. Every time I get to the rink and step on that ice, it's so much fun. And even the pro guys, I played in fantasy camp with some of the players in the past, and the guys that are retired, and even the current players. Mm-hmm. It's the energy that they get from us as fans. It's the energy stepping in that building, and that's what I want to see really take off again this year. And I think a lot of the fans have looked past what happened last year. Should we have that happen this year? I believe you're going to see a fire sale. I really you'll see Hitchcock gone, and I think you'll see many players go, and
you'll see a lot of the old core gone.
Exactly. You'll rebuild again with some of the young guys, but it's right now I think everybody's kind of just blown it off, looking at who we have coming, and it's going to make a difference. But again, if we get a slow, crappy start, that's going to really put a lot of pressure on Hitchcock especially. And we've seen it happen before where you get a crappy start first quarter of the season and you're firing a coach.
That's how Hitchcock came in.
Exactly.
Yep.
I don't want to see that happen again. So
I don't want to see it happen again either. I don't think any Blues fan does.
As fans, we are expecting a lot. However, we've got to forget last season, come in fresh, and just like the players are, and everybody's hungry to go far. And again, keep seeing the articles of Sporting News, Sports Illustrated, all these different groups saying the Blues are going to be right at the top again. And that's well and good, but we've got to get past. We got to get deep into playoffs. Even give me the Western Conference Finals at this point. I'd be happy to be getting that far, knowing that we've got a solid team.
I agree, and I definitely agree with you, Doc. Just give me to the Western Conference Finals. And, like you said that you hit the nail on the head there. I've forgotten about the past. If you look at our roster really hasn't changed. Yeah, we don't have Jackman anymore. We don't have Oshie anymore. Those are two guys that are the most notable two guys that we don't have anymore. But we still have the same good hockey club, and we're going to be reckless. Remember when Hitch said that? We're going to be reckless, no more conservative. And I hope they are reckless. And if there's one player on the roster that I think is going to have a key year, is going to be under a microscope a lot, probably more so than he deserves. Probably, for me, it's going to be Troy Brouwer, the new guy coming in. For me, you could put Paul Stastny in that category too. But for me, it's Troy Brouwer because he's the guy that's going to replace Oshie, the popular guy. And he said he's not going to try to be Oshie. He's going to be his own player. And I really think a lot of Blues fans, myself personally, we're gonna really get to like Troy Brouwer and what he has to bring to the team. He seems very professional. He seems very driven. He seems like he has the kind of attitude that this team needs.
Well, and you're right. And the other side of that is too is he doesn't have the pressure that Oshie did. Oshie was drafted, was brought here, was put on a very high pedestal right off the start, and the Olympics even put that pedestal higher. And when he faltered just a little bit, a lot of people wanted his head, and I think some of that pressure really played against him. I mean, yeah, he had the fan support, especially when his daughter was born and had some medical problems and that. The Blues gave him time and let him do the things he needed to do, take care of family, which is fantastic. But he had so much. He just had they had the city pressure. He was was Sportsman of the Year, I believe, last year and some other things. And it's all that. I think that's almost too much. And I know a lot of other teams, a lot of other towns do the same kind of things with players. But it seems like you get some of the guys and they can't handle that. And I think that was almost too much for him. Is he was so pressured to perform that it's a detriment. And Brouwer, yes, he's being welcomed here. A lot of the fans are really excited to see him. I don't think he has as much pressure as Oshie did.
I agree. He's a new guy, and yeah, he's the guy that's replacing Oshie. He'll have that stigma that he's like the guy replacing Oshie. Oshie's got to be, he's going to be, he was our top player, whatever. He's the guy replacing Oshie. To me, he's going to be the guy that's probably might be under the radar and be one of our top forwards in this season. But I'm not going to put that pressure on him either, but I'm just going to say he might surprise a lot of Blues fans that way, in that aspect.
And the other thing we've got to get strong early, and I don't know how it's going to get balanced out, but Allen and Elliott.
Oh, man.
I don't have a problem if you split them the whole damn season. If one person stands on their head and deserves more playing time, great. But they both show that they can play split time the whole season. Their numbers were fantastic. Yeah, Allen had some rough outings in the playoffs, and Elliott had some bad games in regular season. So did Allen. Yeah. But overall, it's an excellent goalie tandem to have. And unless somebody just falters big time, I think overall they're going to do well.
I agree. If they're splitting duties the regular season, they go into the playoffs. Okay, forget the playoffs. If you have this regular season, if one's playing really good, give him the more playing time. And if he starts to slumber, pull him out immediately from the slump and put the other guy back in and just let it feed that way. Because in the playoffs, yeah, Allen had a few rough outings, but if you look at the games that we lost, he kept us in the game. He kept us in position to win the hockey game, and that's what the goaltending position really is. Yes, you have to stop every puck, yeah, but you also have to keep your team in position to win every hockey game, and he did that. In Game 3, he gave up 3 goals, yeah, but he was our best player that night. But at the same time, if he's not winning hockey games, you gotta switch duties. You gotta switch duties or go back to the other goalie.
And if you've got a hot goalie, stick with him. I don't have an issue with that. And I mean, both players had some fantastic shutouts. But
agreed.
Time's gonna tell, and I think we're gonna kind of know how the season's gonna go within the first 20 to 25 games. I think that's going to give us a season picture and see where some of the players shake out. And some of the young guys, I think, are going to come firing on all cylinders early, and I think you're going to see a lot of good goals. Tarasenko, there won't be any drop-off with him. I think he's going to come in just the way he ended last season, as just all over the place. One of the big question marks that I see is Paul Stastny. He better show up. He better play a much better game than he did last season, because with the contract he had, people expected a lot higher numbers, and he just didn't have it.
I agree. You look at most of his points, and most of his points came from the power play. 5-on-5 play, he wasn't a factor for us, and that's what he was brought in for, the X factor, being on 5-on-5. And most of his You could also say it's Hitch's fault for putting a $7 million man on third line. But at the end of the day, he's still not putting up points.
You've got to, and maybe he should have at least been on second.
Yeah, I agree.
But if you're not playing up to what the expectations are, you better expect to be dropped back in line in a line down. But what you do with that is you step up your game. You play the best you can, and your line mates aren't bad. You try and fight to get put back up on those higher lines. Now, do you see? I don't see us making any other moves before the puck drops as far as signing unrestricted free agents, because really, looking at our team, we're pretty well stacked. I mean, I don't think there's a whole lot we're missing. Scanning through the unrestricted free agents, a couple names kind of surprised me. Stepniak is in there. Brad Boyes is in there. Martin Erat, one that's not surprising, but I thought he was a good player while we were here, is Jordan Leopold is in there. Gustafson's in there, but I don't see any of us or see us signing any of those guys. I think we're very stacked. We've got an excellent training camp list, and I think even the Blues are going to be, when it comes down to who do you send down to the AHL or send off to other places, I think they're going to have a very, very tough time doing it.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, I agree. It's going to be tough to send down. If Ty Ratty or Fabry have great training camps, or even Lindblom. Lindblom. If they have great training camps, who are you going to send down? Don't forget Magnus P.R.V. is also in our fold as well. People have long forgotten about him.
And I believe he signed only a one-way contract, if I remember right.
Yes, he did sign a one-way contract, which means he can't be dropped down to the minors. He has to clear waivers before going to the minors.
And if he goes, they pay him at the regular NHL salary too.
Exactly.
So
you also got to keep in mind, due to lounge logic here, Doc, if somebody has a really bad training camp, you got to trade him.
I give everybody the chance to have it's a lot of it's butterflies. I'm sorry, even as a guy, and I know some of the loungers play hockey, and I don't, trust me, I'm not an expert on all things, especially on pro players, but even I step out when I'm playing in tournaments or things like that, or playing in my charity game in December. When I step out on that ice, I've got butterflies, I've got nerves, and then settle down and start playing the game. But these guys are going to do it too. I mean, this is a big deal. But I think from the Blues side, from the management and the coaching side, this is a good problem to have. It's nice that you're not having to scrounge around at the end of training camp going, crap, what team are we going to build? With this one, you've got plenty of ammunition. Should you get injuries late in the season, should you need to replace somebody with who's got a long-term injury, or if Berglund's out longer or things like that, you've got guys that are there. So your reserves are well stocked, which I think will help. And some teams don't have that. Some teams don't have a good farm team structure. They don't have a good setup. So that's one thing we can say about the Blues. The only thing I wish is we still had total control of the minor league system. Yeah, we're with the Wolves. They're close, but I wish we were back to the way the Rivermen were, because they controlled the coaching, they controlled all the players, the everything about it. It was much more managed. And
it wasn't in Chicago.
That too. But it's going to be fun. We're very close. I mean, when the weather's cooling a little bit, I'm thinking about being able to throw a hockey jersey on and wander around, or put on one of my Blues shirts. And I'm going up Chicago first part of October for a wedding. You better believe I'm taking Blues gear up there.
And you better believe it.
But everybody's getting fired up for this season. As we count this down, you know we'll do several more shows by the time training camp gets here and through training camp. Hopefully some of us can get down, even some of our silent reporters in that feed us information, get down
Absolutely.
to training camp, get us information if we can't get there. But this is going to be a fun year, and I hope the Loungers get excited as we are. Post a lot of good stuff. Yeah, there's going to be player bashing. There's going to be team bashing when things aren't going well. But I think this is a very exciting season to be fired up about. Yeah, let's get this here, because every day we look at it, it's closer and closer, and these are the kind of this is what we want. This is exactly what we want for this season. After a lot of the fans were dejected, but I will say this before we wrap this up: is if we get to the first round again, you will see a lot of fans walk away. I've talked to quite a few. I've heard from quite a few different ones that says if we go down in the first round again, they're going to walk away from it, be canceling season tickets and things like that. And I hate to say that because I've stuck with the Blues a very long time, good and bad. But I don't want to see anybody do that. But I understand how some fans are. Any final thoughts from you?
I also wanted to point out that the Blues night over at Busch Stadium, they're selling tickets to Blues night at Busch Stadium for the Cards game. I think it's September 27th. I believe it's September 27th. But that's pretty cool. They got a limited edition Cardinals hat in Blues colors. That'd be pretty cool. But definitely could be a lot of pictures in the lounge that night as well for that. And but you hit the nail on the head there, Doc, with the fans losing support if we're out in the first round again. Nobody wants to see them out in the first round, and it's a sad truth. This season, we said it the past 2 seasons, is make or break for us, but this truly, probably, most likely is make or break for the St. Louis Blues. And I hate to say it, it's going to be I hate to say it, but it's the same way. It's really exciting to say at the same time because this hockey team is still very good, very stacked, and still could very well do some damage in the playoffs, and that's what we're hoping for. And I trust in Hitch. I trust in our team. I believe Blue. I am so excited for this season, and I can't wait to be moving back to STL in October 20th. Really
not long. You could be right in the middle of it.
Florida's too hot, man. It's too hot. There's no hockey weather here, and as much as I love Florida, I'm going to miss all the friends that I made in Florida. I'm moving back here to St. Louis next month, and looking forward to meeting some of you loungers out there. And I'm really looking forward to this season. How about you, Doc?
I'm very pumped. Also want to let all our loungers know, mark your calendars. We're going to get all the details out as soon as we can. But it looks like right now, Saturday, November 7th, 7 p.m. against the Nashville Predators, we may be doing a podcast live from the Blue Note Sports Bar and Grill.
Not confirmed yet.
We're working on all those details, so
deal.
at least that looks the date right now. So mark that on your calendar. It's going to be a fun one. Loungers, thank you so much.
Trip.
Yes. Make sure you guys, if we
it
get
is
that
confirmed.
done.
We just received word. It's confirmed.
So you guys can come
Our live
see
chat
all of
here.
us. We can bring you on the mics, talk hockey, have drinks together, watch a fun game, and show everybody what the lounge can do. This is the Blues Lounge Rinkside Podcast. Doc Noyes, Sean Ditch. Thank you guys all so much. Have a great one. We'll see you on the next podcast.
Let's go, Blues!
Watch me